What's up guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. 2022 is now over, so let's go over our net worth for December and see where we ended for the year. But before we jump into it, I just want to acknowledge that today is MLK Day here in the US, so a couple things to keep in mind. One, remember Black Lives Matter, period, end of story. Second thing to remember is that people of color, and in particular women of color, get paid less than white people do, and in particular white men. It's important to acknowledge this reality that exists, this hurdle that people of color, and in particular again women of color, have to overcome when trying to make progress in their personal finances. And so don't forget that there are ways that you can participate in your everyday life to help make changes and help make things more equitable in our country. One great way to do that is if you have children, start having conversations with them early and often about race, beautiful differences in skin color and hair color, and just how we are all different and all of it is beautiful, and celebrate those differences rather than try to just be blind to them or ignore them. The other thing you can do is in your workplace, you can participate in your diversity, equity, and inclusion events that your company may hold, or if they don't have them, go to HR and ask them why not, and offer assistance to get that effort started. So those are just a couple ideas. If you have other ideas of how to support Black lives, people of color in general, women of color, people of color in the personal finance community, any of those things, put them in the comments below and we can continue the discussion of how we can support and be an ally, an active participant in helping fix this problem, rectify this inequality, rather than just sitting on the sidelines and passively watching. All right, so December 2022 net worth. If you like this spreadsheet, you can get it for free. It's linked in the video description. It's an instant download. I give it to you guys for free as a thank you for supporting my channel. If you like that spreadsheet and you wanna see more of what I have in my other spreadsheets available for purchase, that will also be linked below. I have an Etsy shop where I have a budgeting spreadsheet, debt payoff spreadsheet, an annual financial goal tracking spreadsheet, and I have them in a bundle as well, so that'll all be linked below. Also, if you're too lazy to do this, or you're like me and you like having multiple systems, some automated, some manual, then you can use this spreadsheet and also download Personal Capital. Personal Capital is how I track all of my net worth, and then I just take those numbers and put it into this spreadsheet because I feel like this spreadsheet's a little simpler to look at. But Personal Capital is a free app that you can link all your accounts and it'll track your net worth if you want to do it more passively and just have it update for you. Plus it gives you great personal finance tips about like where you're at percentage wise for are you on track for what you're saving and investing for retirement? Is your emergency fund big enough? All that kind of stuff. So I will have that linked below as well if you want to check out Personal Capital for your own net worth tracking. All right, so for our net worth, and if you're not familiar, net worth is everything you own minus everything you owe. So all of your assets is everything you own, and then all of your liabilities is everything you owe. So you take everything you own and you subtract everything you owe, and that is how you get net worth. So let's take a look at everything we own, all of our assets for December, and how those changed. So as of the beginning of December, our house was worth $440, and we're just leaving it there because, you know, we got an opinion on what it was worth, and we just basically took the low end of the range minus every like broker's fee and all of the things that would come out from the sale and put that as the value of our house. And we may be selling our house in the next year or so, so that could change, but we're just gonna leave it there for now because the real estate market is just like, it's hard to know what's going on. I don't know if you guys have like a good sense of what's going on in your area, or if you even care because you're not thinking of moving or anything. But basically around us, interest rates are rising everywhere, right? So you would think that would make prices drop, and it has seemed to make prices drop. There were a lot of price drops over the fall and like now coming into the winter, but now that the spring market is starting to approach, I'm wondering if those price drops are gonna kind of bounce back up because the real estate market's getting going more, and also inventory is still super low, so there's gonna be more people looking to buy but still not enough people looking to sell. So how's that gonna affect prices? It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And you know, we're not going to make our decision on when to move based on what the market's doing, because that's just not how we make a decision about our primary residence. If it was an investment property or something, sure, you look at those things. But to me, if it's your primary residence, you do what works for your family in the most financially efficient way possible, but you don't make a decision based on what the market's doing or trying to predict what the market's doing, because you're probably going to get it wrong anyway. So With that said, our house is at 440. Savings, which is our emergency fund and sinking funds, started at 11,500 and ended at 10,100. So that was a decrease of $1,400. That was just spending out of our sinking funds. We had a lot of expenses in December, and so we spent our sinking funds, and that's what they're there for. So next, for retirement accounts, we started out at 87,000 and are down to 84,800. So that was a decrease of $2,200. The market dropped again in December. 20% of the time the market drops, 80% of the time it goes up. That's like the historical statistic. So we're in the 20% of the time where it's dropping. That's okay. I just look at it as we have cheaper prices to buy in. Stock prices drop. You buy, one stock at $10, and then it goes back up to 20, and now it's more expensive to buy in every time you want to go invest. So for a younger person, I feel like stock market drops should be seen as an opportunity, not as a bad thing necessarily, even though it is painful to see your portfolio go down. And like if you're investing, like let's say, I think we invested about $2,200 this month, and it still went down by $2,200. So it really went down by $4,400 because we put in over $2,000 this month. And that's a little bit difficult to stomach sometimes, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and you just trust that the market goes up and to the right, and you just keep investing. For my brokerage accounts, we started out at 6,100 and those went down to 5,800. Again, that's all stuff that's invested, so that was a decrease of $300. HSA also is invested. That's a health savings account that we're using as a retirement fund as well. So $3,000 is where we started and it ended at 2,800. So that was a $200 decrease. And then our cars are at 17,500. Every month I say like, oh, I should look up and see what the value is and update it, but I just never do because I'm lazy. So next month, we're gonna update this and make sure we have accurate values for our cars. We're not planning on selling either of our cars, so it doesn't like matter that much, but at the same time, like we might, and I want these to be accurate. So when I look back, we've got like accurate numbers for what we've recorded. So next month we'll update the cars. So we started out at $565,100 in assets and ended at $561,000. So that was a decrease of $4,100 just because the market went down and we spent a little out of our sinking funds. So sometimes your assets go up. You hope that your assets go up most of the time, but this month ours went down, and that's okay because they'll go up again, hopefully in January. So let's move on to the liabilities. For liabilities, thankfully, we only have 2 liabilities left at this point. One is our mortgage. That started out at $296,800 and went down to $296,300. And so that was a change of $500. We paid off $500 of principal from our mortgage by just making the minimum payment. And then for my husband's student loan, it started out at $77,500 and went down to $76,300. So that was a difference of $1,200. We were able to put a bunch of extra payments this month, so that was really exciting because usually it doesn't go down by quite this much. So it went down by $1,200, which is awesome. And we are continuing working on paying off this debt. This is our last debt on our debt-free journey because we're not trying to pay off our mortgage, obviously, since we're planning to move in the next year or so. And so my husband's student loan is the last debt that we're focusing on before it will be debt-free besides the mortgage, and I am just so excited to see what we can do in 2023. So stay tuned, subscribe if you want to see us pay down this last debt. If you're not subscribed already, I'd love to have you. So total liabilities were at $374,300 at the beginning of the month, and we ended the month at $372,600. So that was a decrease of $1,700. So decreasing your liabilities is good. You want your liabilities, what you owe, to go down. So that was a great month for us. So for net worth, we started out at $198,800 and we ended at $188,400 because although our liabilities did decrease, our assets did as well. So overall, net, we had a decrease of $2,400 in our net worth in December. So I was hoping that maybe the stock market would like rally at the end of the year and we would end up with a $200,000 net worth, but it looks like that's going to have to be something that happens in 2023, which is fine. I don't have any like particular milestones we're trying to hit. I really wanted to get positive net worth and then hit that $100,000 mark, but beyond that, I'm not really setting goals for us of like when I want to hit things because a lot of it is just so dependent on what the market's doing. So more of my goal is like the percent of how much of our money we're putting towards our financial goals, and I track that in a separate video that I posted actually a few days ago of our annual financial goal tracking. I post that every month of what percent of our money went to our different financial goals, investing, debt payoff, all that stuff. And that's more of the number I focus on. That's something I can control versus hitting certain net worth milestones just is really dependent on the market. And really, as your net worth grows, it becomes more and more dependent on what the market's doing if you're invested in the stock market, because that number is really going to fluctuate in bigger swings the more you have invested. So anyway, hopefully we'll hit 200 this year, maybe even 300 if the stock market has a great year. We'll see. The other thing that I've been tracking, and I don't want to forget, is looking to see when we hit $100,000 invested. So the market did go down this month. So between the retirement accounts, brokerage, and HSA, we are at 93,400. So we keep putting money in and it keeps just going down to not quite be at that $100,000 mark, but we will get there very soon in the next couple of months. Hopefully we will hit that number, and that will be an exciting thing to celebrate. So that is it for this net worth update. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And if you want to see more videos from me, then hit that subscribe button down there. I'd love to have you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.